बताना है कि हेली सकर्दू से टेक ऑफ कर गया है, एक ही बताना है, और हमने ये बताना है कि भाई सदर
Siachen Glacier, also known as the Third Pole, is one of the most beautiful, enigmatic, and spellbinding places on Earth. It is also one of the most dangerous. This frozen, stagnant landscape lies in the midst of the greatest mountains in the world. And this area and these mountains can easily be considered as art. Art created by God Himself. Since the Indian incursion into the area in 1984, this place, this art of Almighty, has become a war zone. It is unlike any other war. Here, the soldiers, besides fighting the enemy, also have to fight the elements of nature.
The Siachen conflict between India and Pakistan, it started with it was basically inflamed by the Indian ingress into our area in 1984. When they came into our area, and that was a blatant violation of a similar agreement of 1972. So this war has been basically inflamed by Indians themselves, and we are there to stop them.
This is a special war, and you need special soldiers to fight it. Our journey begins here at Rawalpindi. This is the rear headquarters of Pakistan Army's FCNA command. The soldiers come here from all over the country. Most of them, however, come from the deserts and the plains. They come here to brave the highest battlefield in the history of warfare. These soldiers, who are used to extremely hot and humid climates, now have to face temperatures which are as low as minus 50 degrees. After getting their orders and briefings, the soldiers move to Gilgit, the capital city of the northern areas, which serves as a great backstage for the events to follow. The monument at the headquarters remind any and all their true purpose of being here. Built among the imposing fortresses of nature, this place prepares one's mind to serve a higher purpose. From here also begins the training of these soldiers. Fighting at high altitudes require a completely different set of skills. The Army has created many training institutions which help these soldiers in developing these specific skill sets.
वतन का दिफा करोगे? यस सर। वतन के लिए जान दोगे? यस सर। शाबाश, मुझे यकीन है।
A soldier at high altitude has to know how to cross crevices, steep cliffs, jagged rocks, evacuate casualties, handling weapons in extreme cold, climbing and rappelling. Due to the extreme nature of the terrain, the soldiers here are trained vigorously in the weapons that they are going to use and the way that they use them. Here they are also required to conduct mock anti-terrorism exercises so that the soldiers A soldier is kept here at these high-altitude training grounds till the time they are absolute masters in their crafts. After the training is complete, these soldiers are then moved to even higher altitudes, and their journey towards their final destination takes a different turn. Getting acclimatized to these high altitudes takes time. It is also very important that they remain active and are involved in activities which keep their mind and body performing at their top level.
They're stretched to the limit. You expect the soldiers to be walking where the air is so thin that even with a simple walking takes an effort to be.
This also helps the soldiers gauge their performance, and they know if they are coping with the altitude or not. And above all, this tells the soldiers what they are fighting for and why they are there. The Pakistan Army has found an ingenious way of utilizing this time of the soldiers. And the way is socio-economic philanthropic initiative, which is also called SAPI. This initiative of Pakistan Army is aimed at making the lives of the civilian population better. The lives of these people were very hard, not only because of the weather and the conditions that they lived in, but also because there were little or no opportunities for them. The government had built them schools, but due to their lack of teaching staff, most of the schools were either closed permanently or were non-operational. The army changed all that. Every brigade and individual unit adopted schools. And where there were no schools, the army built them. The soldiers helped to maintain and run these schools. And now some of these schools rival the best in the region, and the education that these schools are providing is changing lives. The soldiers go on their SAPI duties. Their first stop is at the village school located 10 kilometers from their base. This school is at the height of 12,600 feet above main sea level. Here the soldiers interact with the children, some teach, some help around. And after the school, the soldiers mount their chariots of salvation and move on. They move on to their next destination, the village of Gyari. Here the army has adopted many orphans, widows and their families. These widows have no one left to take care of them. And the army and its soldiers are now their only lifeline. as well as the only family they've got. The soldiers go from one door to another, from one family to another. Some receive them with smiles of joy, and some with tears of gratitude. Our soldiers keep on making their deliveries and keep on collecting their payments of prayers. Prayers which they so desperately need for the journey ahead. Another day of their journey to their destination has passed. Now the soldiers have reached their battalion headquarters, and upon their arrival at 14,500 feet, they are faced with the most harshest of the realities of life. Their unit is ready to receive one of their own. The silence, the bitter cold add to this ominous occasion, but all of them stand tall and undeterred under the waving flag of their motherland. They stand proud in the knowledge that one of their own, their brother in arms, has offered the ultimate sacrifice, and no act is more honorable than that. The martyred brother is being carried proudly by his fellow soldiers, and he arrives back to his unit as royalty. His name forever written on the wall, right alongside his fallen comrades. He's now part of history. His work here is done. Even though a nation tonight has gained a martyr, but somewhere down in the plains, a wife has lost a husband. Some children have lost their father. A mother has lost her son. The next night, the moment of truth has arrived. The final leg of their journey is about to start. Our soldiers are ready to face an immense challenge which lay ahead. A small but a graceful ceremony is held for the departure of every party. Their journey to their post will take another 15 days. Due to the extremely cold temperatures at night, the risk of avalanches is minimum. But traveling at night carries with it its own set of troubles. Here your first mistake is your last. One month later, we decided to go up to the post and see how our soldiers are coping with their new environment, and if their spirits are as high as they were before. Life at the post is simple, but here in this environment and at this altitude of above 18,000 feet, one requires superhuman willpower and strength to perform even the simplest of tasks. The 8 or so people that you live with, day in and day out, are your family, your neighbors, and your community. Here in this frozen wilderness, one discovers emotions that you never thought existed. Here you discover yourself. You discover who you are, not only as a person, but also as a soldier. Here in this place, one gets the realization of things that you never thought about before. It was middle of June and still the temperature was -3 below zero. But for our soldiers, this was an extremely pleasant day. The life at the post is completely different than that of the rest of the army. Here the officers and the soldiers share the same quarters. They all share their duties. They all do the same chores. Here, their lives are the same. And there is no difference between ranks. They are all just soldiers, the proud defenders of their motherland. The greatest luxury here is if a fellow soldier has cooking skills, cause otherwise it's staying food for everyone. There is a certain buzz in the air at the post. Today their new comrades and their new commander will join them. Today the soldiers will also receive word from home, and they will know what is happening in the world tonight. Another important news is the arrival of fresh meat. The soldiers have been eating tinned food and lentils for last several months now, and they have received the word that their request for fresh meat has been granted. And the sector has sent them a goat, which has started its journey 2 days ago along with the party. It is over. The party has arrived. The air is filled with joy, anticipation, and excitement. For the next few hours, everyone will remain in a certain state of euphoria. All of them will be warm in the warmth of happiness. This wave of euphoria doesn't last that long. The word has come that a casualty is being transported, and they will also be passing from here today. Euphoria can turn into utter despair within an instant. This is a place where one party brings life, while the other sometimes has to carry the burden of death. But death is a reality, even more so at Siachen. After the departure of the casualty party, life returns to normal. The soldiers offer their prayers together, and the ones off duty indulge themselves into some board games.
Allahu Akbar.
The temperature is now minus 12 degrees, and the soldiers start their night patrols. One of the primary duties of the soldier is to continue to make water. Ironically, sitting on one of the largest water resources on the planet, they have to make water from snow. And the cold, bitter, dark night moves on. Since it is the night, the soldiers at the post are expecting another party to pass through. A light in the distance beacons the arrival of the party. There is life again at the post. These men will be guests of the post for a couple of hours. While they stay at the post, they will rest their weary feet and gather strength for the journey ahead. They'll share their experiences with each other over a cup of tea, which is extremely welcome at these temperatures and at this time of night. They will also take the letters of the soldiers back to the civilization and post them to their loved ones. The air of euphoria returns, and they have all forgotten their hardships and sorrows, and they are all enjoying this near perfect moment. But as all good things must come to an end, so must this moment face its inevitable fate. It's time for the party to depart. They must continue their journey home. The departure of the party leaves the post in darkness. And life again returns back to normal. And our soldiers return back to their duties, and their day will end in the morning. This is just a glimpse of the life of a Siachen soldier at his post.
through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire. I've witnessed your son